Skibidi Dum Dum. Welcome to another episode of the Lux Saigon podcast, where your voice can be heard. Grant returns for another book discussion. This time it's Atomic Habits. You know, that book that you should have read years ago. This book gives the reader a great method of improving daily by the smallest percentage possible. In the long run, these tiny improvements accumulate into a powerful snowball effect. Try it for yourself and find out.
A new book episode with Grant. Now that we finished Sam Harris. Now it's time for James Clear, right?
Yeah.
James Clear, the guy that got his face smashed by a baseball bat.
Oh shit, yeah, I forgot that. That's how
like
the book
his journey
starts.
begins like that, right?
Yeah.
His journey begins with him playing, I think it's high school baseball or something.
Yeah, because like I opened up the book expecting just to learn about habits and stuff, and then he goes on to go into like detail about how he gets his face smashed by like a baseball bat or something.
And he said like at some point he I think his the bones in his face got totally like messed up, right?
Yeah.
And he was trying to like blow his nose one day and his eyeball popped out.
Oh my god. Yeah, it sounds like a horrific injury.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
man.
it's horrendous.
I guess that makes sense. Like he had to start from scratch, I guess, and like regain his lifestyle after that accident.
Yeah.
He learned this, like how habits work, I guess.
Yeah, because when
awesome.
you have to do like really intense like rehab and you can't really do shit if you've got a crazy injury like that. So even just doing the tiniest little thing, which you and I would take for granted, you've got to I guess for him, he discovered you need to set really good habits to accomplish it.
I wonder if my dad also experienced that, because my dad had that stroke, remember?
Yeah.
And he was like, he couldn't do much for a few months, I guess.
Yeah.
But if you see him now, he's going to the gym every day, 5 a.m.
Nice, wow, 5
Yeah,
a.m.
it's like his new lifestyle, because he didn't do that before the stroke.
That's crazy.
That was all afterwards.
Yeah.
Even when he came to Vietnam, he was still finding some gym in Thao Dien to go work out at.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Chapter 1 is the surprising power of atomic habits. Have you heard of Kaizen?
Kaizen? Don't think so. Who is that?
It's like a Japanese method of like improving yourself little by little every day.
Interesting.
It's kind of like the same as this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because he talks about how like if you just do, he gave an example of that British cycling team. Yeah. And they were like shit. Like nobody even wanted them to ride their bikes because they gave them bad press and like ruined the brand's image. Yeah. And then they had a new coach come in, and his philosophy was like just 1% improvements. Like if you can improve 1% in like all these different areas, like it all adds up, and then you make like pretty big improvements.
Right. He proved it's correct.
Yeah, and they went from being like the shittest team in the world to I think it was the 2012 London Olympics, they like absolutely smashed it and like were way ahead of everyone. Crazy. Yeah.
Okay, so like, what do you think about this? It says habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. But I think I'm not too familiar with the term compound interest. It's more like a financial term, right?
Yeah. Compounding I think is just like
accumulating,
building on top of the more you put in, the more you put out. Yeah.
Because he also says getting 1% better every day counts for a lot in the long run.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think I feel that's true, because when I started with spirituality, that was my 1% improvement in that. Yeah. But it's spread out into other stuff.
Yeah.
That's why I'm even reading this book right now, actually.
Yeah.
How about this? Habits are a double-edged sword. They can work for you or against you.
Yeah, because like he gives lots of examples of bad habits, right? Like a habit is just something that you do without even thinking about it. So you can have good habits where like going to the gym every day, it's not even something you think about, it's just part of your routine. It's a positive habit. You can also have a habit of every time you finish work, you associate like closing the door and kicking your shoes off with like cracking open a beer, and then that's like 5 beers a night or whatever, so anything you do on a regular basis with even just like on autopilot, it's a habit, good or bad.
Yeah. For me, it was playing Pokemon Unite on my phone and watching what I call corn now.
Right. Okay.
I'm going to call it corn. Okay. Small changes often appear to make no difference until you cross a critical threshold.
I'd agree with that. It's like, you go to, I keep using like physical examples mostly because a lot of my positive habits are exercise, but you try, say, and run, and you don't really notice a change like the first however many days. Like if you start running and then you compare your run you did on Tuesday to your run you did on Friday, you don't really notice that many differences. But then if you compare your run that you did in May compared to the run you did in December, you're like, oh shit, like I'm progressed, like I'm running like 5 more K now or something like that.
Yeah. I don't know why I feel like I notice the small changes, but also because I'm looking for them.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'm imagining them or if I'm actually seeing some positive small changes. I think I am seeing some small changes.
Probably. With what though, for example?
Like running and push-ups right now.
Okay, yeah, you will, but
it's like maybe like 3 days later, like, oh shit, this doesn't hurt as much anymore.
Yeah.
Or I can go all the way down and up better than 2 days ago or something.
Yeah.
I still can't do like 100.
I find though that like the small changes which you just notice day by day, they're not always going up. Like you might have a day where you're like, that was really good, then you like go, then you just kind of like it slowly trends upwards, but there are like peaks and troughs, so like you might have, for me, I would have like a day where I'm like, oh shit, like I think I'm like better than last week, and then I'll have another day where I'm like, fuck, like I'm not doing good today. But then like if I compare myself to months ago, I'm like, oh, I'm definitely improving.
I think I tell myself that I am improving every day, but there are some days where I just don't want to do it. And maybe it feels like I'm not improving in those days where I don't want to do it. But now also thinking about Goggins and Huberman in that episode, I feel like when I don't want to do running and I go do it, that's the most beneficial time to do it.
100%. 100%.
Today I almost messed up by going with headphones and running because I thought that would be more enjoyable. But wait, but then I won't get the benefit of the the not enjoying it so much.
Yeah.
Hi, Goggins.
Yeah.
All right. He calls his book Atomic Habits because atomic means like extremely small, like the smallest possible change, right?
Yeah.
I think the label of atomic, when I first saw the book, it kind of made me feel like, oh man, it's gonna be really hard. But actually, it's tiny improvements.
Yeah.
It's like the tiniest improvement possible.
It
actually has like a snowball effect.
Yeah. Because
afterwards,
I actually remember reading. It is kind of also links back to Sam Harris because he gives an example of meditation as a habit in Atomic Habits. And I remember reading that book, and he said, if you're starting a new habit, maybe like say write down after my morning cup of coffee, I will meditate for 1 minute. And I thought to myself, like, 1 minute, like what?
Right.
You could do more than that. And then he like went on to say like, yeah, but if you start really small, it's much easier to implement it, and then you can like slowly increase it rather than just straight away giving yourself like, I'm going to meditate for 20 minutes every single day, because then you can just be like, do I really have time? Like, I'm tired. Oh shit, I'm running late. Whereas 1 minute, you're like, everyone's got a minute.
Yeah, like someone said, start so small it feels pointless.
Yeah.
You want to have like a new push-up routine?
It sounds counterintuitive, but I think it works.
It's like, it's when I start a new push-up routine, at least commit to 1 push-up a day.
Yeah.
You can do that. Anybody can do 1 push-up a day.
Yeah.
All right, he mentions forget about setting goals. Focus on your system instead. Yeah,
that's so true though. I think like goals are good, but you can also fall into the trap of being like, like I've completed my goal, like time to chill now.
Right.
So I think a habit means that it's continuous. You're going to do it forever.
It's like a long term.
There's a lot of people who would say, okay, I'm going to get fit. I'm going to do a couch to 5K. And then they spend months getting off the couch and completing the 5K run. They complete the 5K run and they're like, all right, I guess I can like drink a few beers and eat a pizza now.
That was me.
Yeah, whereas
I have my 5K medal up there.
You're like, I've got my medal. I can post it on Instagram. Like everyone knows I'm fit.
After I got it, I was like, I'm an Olympian now. Right? I can chill.
You're like
now.
Putting it in your teeth for photos and shit.
Yeah. Nice. He says, you do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems.
Interesting. I don't really know what he means by that. What do you think he means by that?
I guess like the systems are sustainable and the goals are temporary.
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
Like more consistent.
Yeah. I think goals do have their place though, but you
it's
just
like your direction, right?
Yeah, you just need to make sure that because say we keep giving an example of running, but if you set a goal for I'm going to run a half marathon, you just need to make sure that the habit is not so connected to that half marathon that you give up the habit afterwards. The habit is a lifestyle, and then you're just going to put a goal in there as well.
This makes me think about people who study languages in high school, that they study for 4 years, and then once high school is over, they forget everything.
Yeah.
Luckily, I took Spanish.
As a free grade.
Dude, I was so lazy. I mean, in high school, I had no direction and no goal, really, so I was just like, just do the easiest thing possible.
Yeah, me neither. I think it also comes down to like what you enjoy as well. Like I didn't enjoy just sitting in a chair and being spoke at about something I didn't give a shit about.
Yeah. Like I just enjoyed music class, which was guitar.
Yeah.
And I kind of enjoyed weight training class, any like kind of PE stuff. I enjoyed that, but everything else was like, I just gotta get through this.
I'll just get a C. That's like what I just need to do stuff in life. So fuck it.
The problem was after that, I went to community college and was like, psychology.
Yeah.
But not really sure about it though.
Yeah.
Dude, okay. In the next chapter, I think is actually one of my favorite ones because he talks about the 3 levels of change, and the deepest one is identity change.
Okay.
Because he's saying as your identity changes, so do your habits.
Yeah.
Like changing who you think you are.
I think we actually spoke about this on the last podcast.
It must have been. Yeah,
we did.
So.
Because it's like if you identify as someone, we just keep using the example of running, but if you identify as someone who like you're like maybe I'll do 5K today, depends how I feel.
Yeah.
Then you start identifying as someone who like if it gets hard, you quit.
Right.
Whereas if you say like I'm setting myself a goal of 5K today, and whether I have to like crawl to the end of it, I'm completing it.
Yeah.
You set yourself the identity of like someone who always completes their goals.
Yeah. I'm excited now because I wasn't that person at all until last week.
Yeah.
It's like really recent for me.
Yeah.
It was perfect timing.
Yeah.
Because he also says the most effective way to change your habits is to focus not on what you want to achieve, but on who you wish to become.
Yeah. I think that's 100% correct.
I think for the first time ever, I'm actually practicing that.
Yeah, because it's like if you start to believe you are a person who eats healthy, who reads a book every week, who doesn't drink alcohol, if that's who you are and that's your identity, then that's the person you'll be.
Dude, I want to give you this, share this insight that I had about myself.
Yeah.
And I don't know why it took me so long to realize this, but I realized that challenges are going to appear in life whether I want it or not.
100%.
They will just spontaneously appear. Whatever things will happen that are challenging.
Yeah.
And if I hope that life gets less challenging, that's just delusional.
Yeah.
Because even if I live in complete comfort, eventually that will get boring too. So if I know that there's challenges on the way to me for the rest of my life, then I can choose to either prepare for them or not prepare for them. Well, I've already been doing not prepare for them.
Yeah.
So then I'll choose, okay, then let me prepare for them because they're coming.
Well, I guess that's the thing is you don't really know what the specific challenges are that are going to come your way, so you can't prepare for like that specific scenario, but you could just make yourself into someone who's like resilient and like is going to be someone who can overcome those challenges.
It's like whatever challenge appears, the one thing they all have in common is they're stressful.
Yeah.
Right? So then,
that's the nature of a challenge. Yeah.
So then like the only way to prepare for future stress is to intentionally choose stress.
Yeah. If you do hard things, then if you do hard things and challenge yourself, then when a challenge comes along, you're like,
it feels more familiar. It's oh, here's a stress, but now I know how to deal
Whereas if you're
stress.
Constantly seeking comfort and like your life is so comfortable, the first sign of a challenge that comes along, you're going to be like,
knock you down.
Yeah, what the hell is this? Like, I don't know how to deal with this.
Yeah. So I feel already some small progress in that.
Yeah.
Like from the running, choosing to run.
Yeah.
And knowing that if I don't want to and if I run, that's actually more beneficial.
Yeah.
Like now that I know that, then when challenges come, I feel much more I can handle them much better now.
Definitely.
And I just started. Like, this is so new to me.
Yeah.
So I'm really curious on what the hell's gonna happen next. I just started this.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited. Becoming the best version of yourself requires you to continuously edit your beliefs and to upgrade and expand your identity. I'm really curious, why aren't we taught about identity change as kids or in school? Like, no one taught us that's even an option.
No.
I think my teacher would say because even the teachers don't know either.
Yeah.
Mrs. Gibbs.
I think as well, like, understanding, especially when you're a kid, you don't have a strong identity either. Your identity is always shifting.
That you're trying to find.
You're trying to find out who you are. So I feel like it would be good, but I don't know, if you told 14-year-old me all about identity change, I'm not sure how much I'd listen anyway. I feel like identity change is something you need to like actively be interested into.
You know, like now, like in like the world today, like I feel like identity change is talked about a lot in regards to like sexual orientation or whatever, right? Like now, identify as this or that or whatever. Yeah. So I was like, okay, why don't you do the same thing, but not for sexual orientation?
100%.
Right? It's still doable.
Yeah.
Then that means you would have to believe that it's possible to actually like modify.
I think that comes down to confidence as well. Like if you lack confidence, I think it's harder to change your identity because you feel like, oh no, like if I decide on that person, like am I really capable of that? Like if I decide, I'm going to be a person that wakes up at 5 a.m. every day, am I capable of that? Like, I don't really have great willpower. Whereas if you're like quite confident, it's easier to do. And
then when people tell you like, oh no, you can do it, then they think like, nah, but maybe they're just special and I can't do it.
Yeah.
That's everybody's excuse for David Goggins. Like, oh, he's just superhuman.
Yeah, that's the thing he likes to say is like, I ain't shit. I'm not special. And that's crazy because he has like some insane willpower. So he runs ultra marathons with like basically no knees, and he used to be like a fat dude who could barely run 2K. So like, you know, he was that person who said like, oh no, I can't do it. I'm a fat piece of shit. Yeah. And so it's actually true. Like anyone can do it. It's just like you need to.
Yeah, like I feel like you need a strong reason to make these changes. And for me, the reason is like I don't want to keep getting my ass kicked by life.
Yeah, that's a good reason.
Like, I don't want to keep getting my ass kicked. Now that I know that I can do something about it, like okay, let me do that.
That's a good reason.
I'm tired of getting my ass kicked.
Yeah.
The real reason habits matter is not because they can get you better results, although they can do that, but because they can change your beliefs about yourself. I think when I read this, I think about when I worked at Starbucks.
Oh yeah?
Because I chose the earliest time possible to make me wake up early. I chose 4 a.m. But luckily they only had 5:30 a.m. available for me. So I was like, okay, awesome. But still, like I had to wake up early as fuck, earlier than any other job I ever had.
Yeah.
And I realized but I always told myself I'm not a morning person. But once I had to wake up for that time, then I was like, oh wait, I just sleep earlier.
Yeah.
And I wake up earlier. It's not even like, but my identity was I'm not a morning person. But then it changed. Like I can just be a whatever I want.
It's so funny because like we almost decide like I'm not a morning person and things like that without even like trying. It's just like
we just don't want to get up.
Like you never wake up at 5 a.m. anyway, so how would you know? But like you're like I'm not a morning person. Oh, I don't want. It's just because you don't want to do it. Like you're just anticipating that it's going to be uncomfortable. But then sometimes you actually try things and you're like, this is pretty nice. Like it's nice being up early. Yeah.
It was nice to like be at work and watching like the sunrise like during your shift. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Nice. The next chapter says, okay, obviously, what is a habit? A habit is a behavior that has been repeated enough times to become automatic.
Yeah.
It could be either positive or negative. For me, the negative was the Pokemon Unite, but mostly the corn.
Yeah.
That's mostly it.
Yeah.
And now I realize that by consuming something pleasurable like corn or whatever is your favorite pleasurable thing to consume, it has the opposite effect of going for the run. It makes it more challenging to deal with the life stress.
Yeah. Especially if those habits are like quick dopamine hits.
Yeah. Short-term stuff.
Yeah, that's the shit that like you get that quick dopamine hit and then there's always like a crash afterwards.
Yeah. Oh, and I was stuck in that loop because you get Like you take your hit of the thing, and then you crash and you feel terrible. It's like, man, I feel so bad. What
and then
can
you
I
do it again to feel better.
I'll just do my drug
again.
Yeah.
I think he actually gives an example of that. He says something like, I watch TV all the time, and it makes me lazy, and I don't have energy. So I'm lazy and I don't have energy, so I watch TV all the time, and it's just like a never-ending cycle.
Yeah, and that's why they say like if you want to help addicts to cure themselves, by making them feel ashamed, you're making them go back into the habit, because then they feel bad about it, and then they take more of their drug to feel better again.
It's interesting you mention addicts as well, because he talks about how 90% of heroin users who go to rehab, when they return to the same environment, they use again. And like changing your environment is like really good way to start a new habit.
Right.
Because he was talking about the Vietnam War, when I think it was like 20%, I think, of Marines were addicted to heroin. And they thought they were going to have this huge epidemic of like Marines going back to the US and being hooked on heroin. But then when they changed their environment, it was something like 90% of them got clean straight away, which is like it's like the opposite of people who go to rehab, return to the same environment, hang out with their junkie friends, and then get back into the same habits. Yeah.
I wonder what if they came back to Vietnam right now. I know, they're probably too old now. It also says, the ultimate purpose of habits is to solve the problems of life with as little energy and effort as possible.
Yeah.
Makes sense, right?
Yeah, I think to begin with, new habits will require some energy, but like the nature of a habit is that it's like almost subconscious, so you just do it.
Yeah. And save your energy for other stuff.
Yeah.
Any habit can be broken down into the feedback loop that involves 4 steps. Number 1, cue. 2 is craving. 3, response. And 4 is reward. I remember that from Korn.
He said that also, you can also apply that to like positive habits as well, though, because he was saying like, if you want to reward yourself, just stack it with a habit which is positive. So like, say if you like to drink, I don't know, something that like a sweet drink that's like not all that healthy
say
for
milk
you.
Tea or something.
Yeah, say it's like a couple hundred calories, but then if you stack that with like, I'm going to go every Sunday when I run 10K and I burn 600 calories. Afterwards, I'll treat myself to a milk tea. Then you start associating the habit with that reward, and it all becomes more pleasurable.
True. All right. Because then comes the 4 laws of behavior change, which is number 1, make it obvious.
Yeah.
Make it attractive.
Yeah.
Make it easy.
Yeah.
And make it satisfying. And today we'll go over the first 2, make it obvious and make it attractive.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, here we go. First law.
Nice.
Now we're going into the first law. That was the intro.
Yeah.
Sick. Okay, here we go. First law. It says, with enough practice, your brain will pick up on the cues that predict certain outcomes without consciously thinking about it. But I think when he talks about that in this chapter, he talks about, this is the lady who, like, her dad.
Oh yeah.
No, her dad or somebody in her family.
I think it was her father-in-law. Like she was some sort of like medical professional, and she saw her father-in-law, and she just said to him like, "You don't look well."
Yeah.
And he was like, "What do you mean? Like I feel fine." And he was like, she was like, "I can't put my finger on what it is, but you look unwell. Like go and get it checked out." And then it turned out he had, I can't remember, it was like cancer or something. And she couldn't, it was just a habit because she sees the patients with that disease all the time. She couldn't put her finger on like a distinct feature. It was just like something about the way he looked. Yeah. And it's just like a habit she had built that like, if I look at someone who looks like that, I associate that with that disease. That's nuts to be able to.
Humans, one of the powers humans have is like pattern recognition, right?
What's that, sorry?
Pattern recognition.
Pattern recognition. I don't know.
I think that was part of like our survival skills in the past, I guess.
Probably, yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Once our habits become automatic, we stop paying attention to what we are doing.
Yeah, for sure. You just go on autopilot, don't you? Yeah.
Like, okay, so like going back to like my corn habit, I started watching when I was like 12.
Yeah.
And I didn't try to stop until I was like maybe 20 or 21 or something. That's like already like almost 10 years, right?
Yeah.
So when I tried to stop, I then I realized it was challenging.
Yeah.
And then I thought, oh damn, I didn't expect that.
Especially if it's like a routine and you watch it like the same time every day.
Yeah.
Or if
and for the same reason too.
Yeah, it's like you
like
get that kind of,
de-stress.
because I used to have that when I was in university with like smoking weed every day, and then I decided to quit, and I'd usually have a joint like a couple of hours before bed, and then I would just like chill out watching whatever like funny shit on my laptop, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna quit, and I would always find like a wrap for like a couple of weeks around that time. I'd find myself like
craving it,
feeling like a bit like, oh man, like what should I do? Like I can't, like because normally I'd just smoke and just chill out and watch stuff, and then I just was kind of like, oh man, like I don't know what to do, like I can't really concentrate on just like watching stuff, and it took like a couple of weeks to like cut that out and then like form a new habit at that time of day.
Cool. So you cut it out because you thought it was making you like less productive or something?
Yeah, I just, because so I lived in a shared house where like everyone smoked weed all the time.
The environment.
Yeah. Nice. So it would just be like always around, and then I just got into a habit of smoking every day, and then I just kind of thought, I think it was around like third year exams time, and I was like, this is not like a good habit to continue with, so I just want to cut it out. Yeah.
True. The process of behavior change always starts with awareness. You need to be aware of your habits before you can change them. That makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
That's a good one, just to, if you want to change your life, just like take down your daily routine and just note down what is a habit, you know? Like if you wake up and drink a cup of coffee, how many cups of coffee are you drinking a day? Like if you smoke a cigarette, like how many cigarettes are you smoking? How many beers are you smoking? Like how many times do you work out? And then like spot what's a habit and which one you want to enhance and which one you want to cut out.
True. Writing out is so helpful, right? I haven't developed that habit yet of writing things out like that.
I do that every week for workouts. I'll put Monday in my notes in my phone, Monday through to Sunday. Then every day I'll put like whether it's a workout day, specify what that workout is, or whether it's a rest day. It just keeps me way more accountable than being like, when did I last work out? Like, am I sore? Should I go for a run? Should I go to the gym? Like, how am I feeling? Whereas if I've got it all laid out, like, okay, yesterday was a run, today's the gym, tomorrow's a rest day.
Making your own schedule.
Yeah.
Dude, I gotta do that for reals.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm starting. Nice. This is my atomic habit happening now. Pointing and calling raises your level of awareness. I've done that recently when I was learning day trading from my friend Likey. Shout out to Likey.
Yeah.
He says to be really careful when you're on the app, because everything you press, like if you press the wrong button, it could just totally screw up your trade in that moment. So you have to be really careful with like every single thing you press.
Yeah.
And
I mean, that sounds like it's designed to trip you up.
Also, I'm on this little app like this, like, but so like I opened like the menu for the trade, and it says like you can modify your numbers or you can just like close the order immediately, and those two options are right next to each other. So when I see that, I get a little bit scared that I'm gonna mess it up. So I just say out loud, modify. So I click on modify.
Yeah.
So it makes me focus on that. Modify.
It's a good idea.
Not close, like modify for sure.
Yeah.
It's worked every single time actually.
Yeah.
Like pointing and calling what you want. The habit scorecard. It's like what you were saying, to write down all your habits. And see which ones you want to keep or not keep. Sick. The next part of this chapter 5, the best way to start a new habit. Oh, this is like the cueing and all of that. Right. So now, this is make it obvious. The two most common cues are time and location. That makes sense also for bad habits too.
Yeah.
Because my time and location, well, the time would be like after work and location would be in my room.
Yeah.
But now, cool. Now that's changed to, after work. I come to my location here and I go for a run and stuff.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think like if you were trying to quit that bad habit without going for a run, it'd be harder because you'd probably like at that time of day you'd be thinking like,
don't do it.
Yeah. Whereas if you just take yourself out of that environment and replace it with a new habit, it's got to be easier to quit, right?
Yeah, that's true. creating an implementation intention is a strategy you can use to pair a new habit with a specific time and location. And here's a formula. The implementation intention formula is I will behavior at time in location.
Yeah. So like I will meditate at 8 a.m. every day. Yeah.
So right now is I will run at, let's say, 5 p.m. in Sun Avenue.
Yeah.
I haven't written it down, but that's what.
Or like I will run as soon as I get home from work. Yeah. Every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he'll talk about also habit stacking. You can pair a new habit with a current habit. I actually did that to get out of the corn. Okay. Because I would watch corn and they'd be like, damn it, no, I should have ran. Okay, so let me stack the running on top of the corn.
What, you'd have a wank and then go running?
That was like a transition. That was like to help me get me out of it. It's like, damn it, let's go. But now it's like, no corn needed. Now I just come home and do my thing.
Yeah. Habit stacking is a good one though, because like, let's say you're trying to be healthier. You could go for a run and then stack that with as soon as you get in the door from a run, you'll like make yourself you'll blend yourself like a fruit veg smoothie or something like that, you know?
Dude, okay. What I did today was after the run, I will buy fruit to eat.
Good idea, yeah.
And I've been eating just fruit for dinner for about 3 weeks.
Really? Yeah. And you're not feeling hungry?
No.
Wow.
I get enough fruit to feel full.
Damn.
Then my brain says, I guess we're full now.
Yeah. What kind of fruit?
I consistently get these 3, because I love these fruits. Pomelo. Okay. Papaya. Yeah. And I get 3 oranges.
Nice.
Damn. And usually I will eat the pomelo and papaya right after I get home. Yeah. And then later in the day, like in the evening, if I get kind of hungry, I'll eat the 3 oranges.
So you have breakfast, normal meal, lunch, and then just fruit on top after a run every day. Yeah. Damn, you'll lose so much weight with that.
Just fruit for dinner, yeah. I feel I've lost a lot.
Yeah.
I haven't weighed myself, but I'm guessing maybe I'm 72 or something. I'm guessing. When my family was here, I think I was like 78. Yeah. At least.
Yeah, I'm pretty heavy right now.
I remember like after my family left back in March, and I saw myself in the mirror, and I saw how fat I was. I was just like, I don't identify with that. Yeah. With that fat.
Yeah.
Like, I don't identify. That was not there 1 month ago. So I don't identify with that fat.
Yeah, well, like when I was, like this time last year, I was in like really, really good shape, like really low body fat. And then after like loads of traveling, now like I'm like 8 kilos heavier than I was. And yeah, because like I've always worked out since I've like 18 or something. Yeah. For me, like it's because I don't saying like I saw myself, the weight on the scale, saw how much weight I put on, and I'm like, I don't identify with being that kind of lazy person. So like I'm just going hard now to get back into the shape I used to be. Yeah.
I felt really ready to detox. Like I didn't feel like, oh damn, I'm so fat. Like, I don't identify with that.
Yeah.
And now I'm gonna detox, and I know it's gonna hurt for a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's doable. Not the end of the world. The next chapter is about the environment. So small changes in context, I guess environment, can lead to large changes in behavior over time. What about my environment at work?
Yeah, if you work in a toxic environment, you'll pick up, you'll have to be conscious not to pick up like toxic habits, you know?
Yeah. Luckily right now, work is not so bad because they'll have like some good people near my area. Nice. Luckily. But next year we'll have like new seats and stuff. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, because that's true. It's like people you hang out with too. Like I know, especially like growing up in England, like just being social is just drinking beers, and that's just almost a habit. You know, do you want to hang out? Yeah, and that's like that key of like, oh, hang out with friends. You just instantly go to, okay, let's go drink beers. Yeah. Whereas like trying to change your environment and realizing like you can hang out with people and do healthy things as well. Yeah, is a good habit to get into.
Like one of my friends messaged me yesterday, hey, want to go for drinks? I was like, I thought we were just gonna hang out, but okay. But anyways, like he was too scared to get breathalyzed, so he just didn't drink anyway. He just had Coca-Cola. Just make the cues of good habits obvious in your environment. wherever that is. What are your cues for your?
For me, I don't use any cues, but when I read the book, he gave an example of if you're trying to run every day or trying to do a sport every day, leave the equipment or the clothes you wear out, and it's obvious. So if you want to run after work, then make sure like you get in the door and you can see your shoes are there next to your running gear that's all folded up, and maybe a bottle of water next to it. If you want to play tennis however many days a week, you get home or you wake up in the morning, you see your tennis racket and it's all prepared for you.
Right.
Because then like, if you wake up and it's not around, it's easy to be like, oh man, I'm kind of tired today. Whereas you kind of feel like a piece of shit if you plan to do something and then you're okay, I'm going to go hang my t-shirt back up because I'm a lazy piece of shit. I'm going to put my shoes away because I'm a fat fuck.
Yeah. Also, like, to make the cues more obvious, it also sounds like have you heard of vision boards?
Vision boards. Oh, that's like putting stuff like on the wall that you want to come true, right? Or
something like that. Something like that.
Okay, yeah.
I guess like the direction where you want to move towards. Mm-hmm. I have mine here, but as you can see, I didn't make it obvious enough. It's like hiding behind my curtains. That's terrible.
Yeah.
So I'm not doing a good job of that right now. It says gradually your habits become associated not with a single trigger, but with the entire context surrounding the behavior. Context is environment?
I guess, yeah.
The environment itself becomes a cue.
Yeah. It
is easier to build new habits in a new environment because you are not fighting against old cues.
Yeah. I think that there's definitely some, because people always kind of like, well, not always, but a lot of people like reinvent themselves when they like move somewhere new or something like that. So it must be linked to that.
That is true. I've tried, dude, before I moved to Vietnam, I was getting blackout drunk every Saturday.
Yeah.
for a year straight.
Yeah.
It's like I would go out sober already knowing I'm going to black out.
Yeah.
Every Saturday, man.
Yep.
And my friends can confirm that. I was like, how many Long Islands can I drink today?
Damn.
My maximum was 4. That's a lot of alcohol, dude. It's like at least 4 shots per.
Yeah, like, I don't really drink that much anymore. And then when I do drink a few beers, like I just feel tired the next day, and I think to myself like, how did I used to drink the amount of alcohol like in my 20s?
Yeah.
And how bad that must be for you, because you build up some sort of tolerance when you go out like every weekend, twice a weekend. Yeah.
It's like, was it worth it? Was it worth doing that?
Yeah. I think when you're young, it is worth it because you're having all these new experiences and like you're meeting people. Journey. But then you hit a certain point where you're just like, I've had all these conversations before. Like, I've seen all this shit before. Am I really enjoying this?
Right. It gets repetitive.
Yeah.
The next chapter is the secret to self-control. The inversion of the first law of behavior change is make it invisible. Like make the cue invisible to a habit that you want to change.
What's that?
Like let's say like you want to change a habit, right?
Yeah.
And there is something that triggers that habit, like to remove that thing that.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, change your environment.
Yeah.
Change what you watch. Change what you consume.
Yeah. Just remove. If you have cigarettes or beers lying around, move them out of your house. Don't have. Like for me, I used to quite like, I still like eating sweet stuff, and if it's in the house, like if there are like some biscuits or some chocolate in the house, I find it really, really hard to not eat it. Whereas if it's just not in the house, then I don't miss it as much. Every now and again I think, I'd like something like that, but I don't really miss it. So yeah, taking those things that are just cues away from your environment.
Yeah.
Definitely help.
For me, it's gummies. I can crush a bag of gummy bears.
Yeah.
I guess like one thing that makes me decrease my consumption of gummies is when I eat like an entire bag in one evening and then it hurts.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, that's bad.
Because that's the thing as well, is like I have terrible self-control with that sort of stuff. Like if I go and buy like a bag of chocolates, I find it hard to eat a few and then put them away. Like I'll just destroy the whole thing, and then I'm like, the first few were nice, but now I feel disgusted and that wasn't worth it.
It's like I'm either like all in or nothing.
Yeah.
People with high self-control tend to spend less time in tempting situations.
Yeah.
It's easier to avoid temptation than resist it.
Makes sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes
Makes a lot of sense.
Again, one of the most practical ways to eliminate a bad habit is to reduce exposure to the cue that causes it.
Yeah.
And okay, like if you're on social media and the algorithm is feeding you stuff that is triggering your bad habit, so you know you have the option to like block those accounts.
Yeah.
But you have to decide to do it.
I mean, just using social media is a bad habit a lot of people have anyway. Like, sure, there are good aspects of social media, but I think the majority of people have a habit of just doom scrolling.
Yeah.
It's just a waste of time, and especially depending on like what the content is you're looking at.
Yeah.
Like, you could just be looking at like stuff that makes you feel depressed about how you look or the state of your life, because you're just comparing yourself to these people who look like they have amazing lives on Instagram.
Like on Instagram, the algorithm feeds me like consistently like spirituality and stoicism. Luckily, and I've been doing a good job of keeping that one good.
Like
TikTok is different.
I don't have Instagram, I don't have TikTok, but I still find myself just looking at random shit on the internet sometimes. So yesterday, my girlfriend and I put a movie on, and I just turned my phone off. And that was the first time I think I've ever done that, because normally in like a 2.5 hour movie, I'd reach my phone a few times. I just turned it off and put it out of sight, and it was just so much nicer watching the movie without constantly feeling like I don't even have social media, but I just do it when like my brain's like a little bit bored, and I'll just look at stuff that's complete like I just like Google like I don't know random shit or like that's not important.
Dude, it feels so good to put the phone into airplane mode.
Yeah.
Then I know that my phone is not going to vibrate at all. I just know I have to check it.
Yeah.
It feels good. Self-control is a short-term strategy, but not a long-term one. I guess he's saying like straight up willpower.
Yeah, I guess so.
Like if your environment is not
if you're surrounded by temptation constantly, at some point you're going to break. You don't. It's really hard to have that much self-control. But if you construct your life that you're not always like you have good habits and you're not always around temptation, that's going to be easier lifestyle to maintain.
Okay, second law, make it attractive.
Yeah.
How to make a habit irresistible. All right, the second law of behavior change is make it attractive, and the more attractive an opportunity is, the more likely it is to become habit forming. And right now, running to me is attractive because I feel that it's giving me more tools to handle inevitable challenges and stress.
Just understanding why these habits are beneficial make them attractive.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to die early. It's pretty attractive.
Also, I feel it's helping me become the person that I want to become. And that makes it attractive to me.
Being someone, like being able to say like, I am someone that is healthy and runs and is able to deal with challenges, just feels a lot better than being someone who is just like, I can't do that. Like, I can't face challenges. Like, I can't, why wouldn't you want to be the former person, the first person?
And it feels better to say like I am a healthy person than I'm someone who's trying to be healthy. Yeah,
he mentions that too, right? Like it's a psychology of that. Like if you say like I'm trying to quit drinking, there's like some room for there's some room for error there. You can easily be like, and people can be like, you're trying to quit drinking. Come on, just come have a drink, and you can tell yourself that as well. Whereas if you're like, I'm someone who doesn't drink, or I'm someone who doesn't drink for like the weekdays or something like that, then there's less room for you to trip yourself up.
True. That's true. Habits are a dopamine-driven feedback loop. When dopamine rises, so does our motivation to act. So we talk about dopamine a lot, right? But like, we talk about it mostly like when you get the hit of the drug, but it's also included in the motivation towards the consuming of the thing.
Yeah. Anticipating something sometimes gives you more dopamine than actually experiencing it. Yeah.
And also, it's a survival mechanism, right? Because I think they mentioned like they got some lab rats and removed their ability to produce dopamine. And they just like sat there and starved to death. Without caring about eating.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So we actually need dopamine then.
Definitely.
We just have to be able to.
That's the thing is like we need dopamine, and say 50,000 years ago, you'd only get dopamine from certain things. You'd get dopamine from going and hunting an animal and bringing home food, or you'd get dopamine from, certain natural things. But now there's so many weird things in our environment, like porn and video games and cigarettes and booze and drugs, that you get dopamine from stuff that you just wouldn't have experienced, like which we're not evolutionary designed to experience.
And people that run these businesses, they specifically study like our what do you call it, primal human survival mechanisms, and they use them to trigger us into consuming their products.
It's fucked up.
And I told this to my girlfriend, and because she works in marketing, and I think like basically she keeps saying like, well, it's the customer's responsibility to be aware of the dangers. But I mean, it'd be nice to have a heads up. That would be nice to have a heads up. Like, are we on the same team or not? What you said, it is the anticipation of a reward, not the fulfillment of it, that gets us to take action. Damn, that's a good insight to know. Especially for like stuff like FOMO. Because the FOMO feeling is like, yo, that thing is gonna be fucking awesome. And then once you do it, then you're like, that wasn't as cool as I thought.
I know, it's crazy.
And then it's like, maybe that was the wrong one. You gotta keep looking for it. Damn, I've been stuck in that. I've definitely felt that before in relationships. That's really screwed up my life so terribly. Last year specifically. Temptation bundling is one way to make your habits more attractive. The strategy is to pair an action you want to do with an action you need to do. Cool.
To give examples?
I think so. I have to look for it. But the one that I can think of right now is, I need to come home after work. And that would and I'm pairing that with like, well, now I gotta run.
It's
like I need to come into this environment. The one that will trigger me to run. Like I need to come here anyways. I live here. But I gotta think of more. Number 9, the role of family and friends in shaping your habits.
I
think my dad is a really good inspiration for me right now.
Definitely. And it's also like you almost get a bit of a head start if you're fortunate. Like say, I always saw my parents exercising when I was growing up, so to me it was just normal to exercise. So like you are a product of your environment, and then also like you can choose your friends, right? So you can't choose your family, but if you choose to hang around with people who are doing bad habits, obviously you're way more likely to do that, and the same is true of the opposite.
Dude, and this also can apply to an entire country's population, and this shows in sports. Like, and right now I'm thinking about football specifically, because like, okay, in South America there's a country called Uruguay. Their population is like less than 3 million in total. I can double check right now. The population, okay, in 2022 it was 3.4 million. And they have one of the best football teams in the world. And Peru has over 30 million people. And Peru is last place in South America right now. But also, like, you can see, like, their mentality is completely different. And in Peru, they always say, like, man, people from Uruguay, they can run so much, they have so much stamina. And I'm thinking, like, why don't you just do more cardio? Why not?
Exactly.
Well, why don't, like, Peru has highlands, you can go run in the mountains. Why don't you just do that? It's for free. You don't have to buy any special equipment for it. You just have to run.
So like almost all the South American teams are really good. So like it's not in terms of like how the people are from those regions, like it's not that one group of people from one country with an arbitrary border can run better than the other people. It's,
they keep,
it's
in
mindset
Peru, they keep
for sure.
saying like, oh, because they're from Uruguay, so they run so much. But why don't you just run? That shit blows my mind, because then, dude, it's like football teams from Peru will play international games and consistently lose. And And every year, why?
Yeah,
why do we keep losing?
Yeah.
Why can't we keep up with everyone? It's like, why don't you just fucking run? Dude, you're a professional athlete. Why don't you just fucking run? Hopefully it will happen one day. We tend to adopt habits that are praised and approved by our culture because we have a strong desire to fit in and belong to the tribe. Okay, now I gotta think, what things are praised in Peru? And I think one of them is just being really slick.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, being really slick. But I'm sure in Uruguay, like one of the habits that are praised is like being disciplined. Probably is like,
maybe.
Like, you got some good discipline, man.
Maybe,
that's cool.
maybe.
And in Peru, it's like, man, you got good discipline. That's so weird.
Yeah.
We tend to imitate the habits of 3 social groups: your close family and friends, the tribe, and the the elites, the powerful people of status and prestige. Dude, this makes sense. You know how here in Asia people want to look as white as possible. But in the West, people want to look as dark or tan as possible. That sounds like number 3, like trying to imitate the habits of the powerful, because here in Asia, the powerful don't go into the sun. So they look light skinned. But in the West, the powerful go to vacation in like the Hawaii during during winter.
That's why people take out cars on monthly payments they can't afford and live above their means, because they're just trying to like show that like, oh, I'm of the social class of like the people who are like in the upper echelons. Because they're trying to imitate those people who are in powerful positions.
And they don't know that those people are also sad.
It's crazy, isn't it? Yeah.
Maybe they just don't want to believe that.
Yeah.
That's nuts, man. One of the most effective things you can do to build better habits is to join a culture where, number 1, your desired behavior is the normal behavior. And number 2, you already have something in common with the group. Like get new friends. Yeah. Basically.
Basically.
Dude, I feel like my social circle like dissolved for a few months.
Oh yeah.
And just now it's coming back together.
With different friends?
Some different, and then some of the previous ones. But not all the previous ones.
Okay.
Some of the previous ones it's just like gone.
Yeah. What is that? Because they just were doing habits that you no longer want?
I feel just like some of them got stuck in a lifestyle where they complain about how unfair the world is instead of trying to let's say develop themselves.
Yeah.
They just want to sit back and be like, man, it's so unfair. There's no opportunities. This sucks. Yeah. And then it's like, I don't know how I can hang out with that person anymore.
A lot of people, because when people come here, say to teach, especially when they're young, like I find they get into the habit of just like going out all the time because it's like cheap here and it's easy to meet like lots of other people. And they just get into a habit of like going out and getting fucked almost every weekend. And like I did that for like probably like the first 2 years that I was in Vietnam. Yeah. And then I just hit a stage where I was just like,
it gets old eventually.
I'm just bored of this. Yeah.
It gets old eventually. The normal behavior of the tribe often overpowers the desired behavior of the individual.
Yeah, because as humans, we want to fit in with people.
Dang. Another survival mechanism.
100%, yeah. Because if you didn't fit in with a tribe 100,000 years ago, that meant death. So
you would actually die.
Now, like, we really, really want to be liked, but we have to remind ourselves, like, actually, do I care if these people don't like me?
Yeah. I feel like now, we're like uninstalling these like old survival.
Yeah, because like if the group didn't like you however many years ago, like you'd be cast out and you'd die.
Yeah. Even like in apes, right? Like in
have you seen Chimp Empire?
Is that where like when they get the food, if you're not friends with the alpha male, then you don't eat?
So there's like big hierarchies in chimps, but there's a Netflix documentary called Chimp Empire. It's incredible. Like there are 2 different tribes, and it's like almost like a reality show, but for like chimps. And like you see like some of the ones who are like low ranking, then you get like the dominant ones, and you see how they're like, it's like just like humans.
They're
and like
so similar to
they'd like do like they're like building alliances and like trying to gain more power, and then like the different groups of chimps are like they're basically trying to build an empire because they've both got like areas of the forest, and they're trying to like kill the others to like expand their resources. It's crazy.
It makes me think like it's possible that these, like if we evolved out of apes, right?
Yeah.
Then it's possible that these survival mechanisms are older than humankind itself.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is like, I thought about this before because we evolved to gather as many, like it used to be really hard to get resources. So like we evolved almost like be greedy to like hoard resources. Like if you came across like a fruit tree in the wild, you'd like gather as much of it, you'd eat as much of it as you can. Yeah. Whereas like that's almost like it's almost like innate in us for like humans to be greedy now. Yeah. And it could be connected
it's
to that.
It's just one more survival mechanism.
Yeah. You feel like you want like more because it's like gonna help you like survive. Yeah.
But it looks like the beauty of being a human, at least a Homo sapien human, is that you have the ability to adjust those mechanisms. Whereas like the previous humans and other animals can't do that.
Yeah. Like we're smart, so we can hopefully.
So like, we can like reprogram. Like you are being programmed already by other people.
Yeah.
But then you can reprogram yourself.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
Only if you believe you can. If you don't believe it, then you're kind of fucked.
Yeah.
And I feel most people don't believe it's even possible.
No, I think most people don't even think about it. They just think this is the way it is. This is the way I am. All right, let's live life.
Yeah. So many distractions too. That's it. If a behavior can get us approval, respect, and praise, we find it attractive.
Yeah.
Good job, Billy.
Yeah.
You did it.
100%.
Student of the month. Then when they're adults, hey, employee of the month.
Yeah.
Good job. That was crazy when I went to my brother's school where he works at in America. They were doing like Student of the Month awards. Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's really nice. And then later that day, I go to like Home Depot or something, and I see Employee of the Month, like Timmy, whatever. It's like, oh my God, they're funneling kids into this, dude. They're funneling them into this. Also, isn't it nuts that like, at least like in America, like the kids go to school Monday to Friday, and then the regular office hours for people are Monday to Friday. Yeah. At the same time too, like about 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. whatever. Yeah. And then in Vietnam, kids go to school Monday to Friday and then a half day on Saturday. Yeah. And then when they go into the workforce, the office hours are Monday to Friday and then half Saturday.
The crazy thing about Vietnam is they get 3 months off for summer. So they're going to be like, oh yeah, I'm used to this Monday to Saturday stuff, but like, it's June now, I get 3 months off from work, right? And they're going to be like, no, you get 12 days vacation, sorry.
Well, I think this is the final one for the second law. And this one is, how to find and fix the causes of your bad habits. The notes here are, all right. The inversion of the second law of behavior change is make it unattractive. Yeah. Every behavior has a surface level craving and a deeper underlying motive. I'm trying to think of when I was consuming corn, what was the deeper motive? I think it was something related to a void that came from mommy issues. It's almost
I don't know. That's like a difficult example, isn't it? It's because like as men, it's like we have that testosterone that like tells us like you gotta fuck, like you gotta release. So that's almost like is in us. Whereas like something else, like playing too much video games or something, like why are they doing that? Oh, it could be because like they get to lose themselves in a fake reality because their real reality is not all that desirable.
They're escaping something.
But it's always a bit more difficult, I think, when it comes to like consuming porn because, it's like as a man, like you're horny and you need to release as well. But
could be. Your habits are modern day solutions to ancient desires.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the survival mechanisms.
I think, yeah.
The cause of your habits is actually the prediction that precedes them. The prediction leads to a feeling. Sounds like a dopamine craving.
Yeah.
Like the anticipation.
Yeah.
Highlight the benefits of avoiding a bad habit to make it seem unattractive. Yeah, that worked for me. Because the benefits of avoiding corn would mean that I would be better able to handle life challenges. And that made the corn more unattractive.
Yeah.
Habits are attractive when we associate them with positive feelings, and unattractive when we associate them with negative feelings. It's like in the case of corn, it's so pleasurable in the short term, but when it becomes clear that the crash afterwards is so goddamn painful, then like now when I think about corn, I kind of think of the pain immediately.
That's good. Yeah.
And that makes it less attractive.
Yeah.
Create a motivation ritual by doing something you enjoy immediately before a difficult habit. I wonder why not after.
Yeah, I thought that was after for some reason.
Or maybe both.
Yeah.
Maybe you could do like something a little bit pleasurable before the difficult one and then more pleasurable afterwards.
Yeah.
I guess he's just trying his best to make it more attractive.
Yeah.
I think that's it. How to make the new habit more attractive.
Yeah. And there's like a lot of advice on how to make habits here. So, I mean, you don't have to do all of it. You just pick what works for you, right? Like, you don't have to write everything down and lay everything out. You just pick what works for you.
Cool. So this is the end of this. The first two laws. So what habits are you trying to install now?
I did have a good habit of meditating every morning. That was when we were reading that Sam Harris book. I need to get back into that habit. I've always been good at having a good exercise regime. I'm trying to get into the habit of waking up earlier as well, because I've been waking up early to exercise, to like go run at like 8 a.m. or something like that. So that's something I'm trying to implement.
I feel like the running is almost like a meditation too.
Running.
As you're running, you're so present.
It's active meditation, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I think it still counts as a meditation.
Yeah, but I'd like to do like actual clear meditation as well, because it's like 15 minutes of my day.
True.
I can definitely afford that.
What helps me is to listen to theta waves.
What's that?
Like this. Alexa, play theta waves. It's just like frequency sounds.
Oh, okay.
I feel like that helps me to get centered during meditation.
Yeah. Nice.
There's not really a melody, it's just like random waves and stuff.
Yeah.
Alexa, stop. Or I'll have it playing while I'm maybe folding clothes or doing something like slow paced. I'll turn it on. I feel it's helpful.
Cool.
Yeah. Any final thoughts for these two?
No. I think no.
All right. Let's wrap it up. Peace.